am Patty Lawler, and thank you for watching. Today our program is especially for some disappointed viewers that were planning to go to Europe this summer on a fine vacation, and due to COVID-19, that trip was canceled. Now, no, I cannot bring you by jet over to Germany, but I might be able to bring Germany to you. With our guests today, we are going to explore a little bit about the traditions and the customs and the history of Germany. Welcome the charming Rose Kamala. She is from South Abington Township, and she was born and raised in a small town in the southern part of Germany. Her town actually was 30 miles from the Swiss border. So Rose, thank you so much for coming and sharing your memories and the traditions of Germany. I want to start at the very top. How do you pronounce the little town you were from?
Speichingen.
Yes.
And it's in the district of Tuttlingen.
Okay.
And the capital of the state is, the capital is Stuttgart, which is like 100 miles north of my hometown.
Yes.
And the state is called Baden-Württemberg.
Beautiful. Do you know, I want to get right back on Main Street because that's where your home was.
You know what? I was just thinking, it reminds me of Honesdale.
Does it?
Yes.
Yes, Honesdale.
Honesdale is just like my hometown.
Oh, that is a beautiful picture for our viewers.
Yeah.
So
I just thought about that.
Yes. Honesdale is quaint.
Yes.
So it must have been. Tell us some of the shops that were on the main street.
Well, I was on the corner.
Yes.
And then going down to the left would be first a bakery and then a butcher store. And the butcher store had also the restaurant.
Okay.
As I told you.
Yes.
That they have often butcher stores with restaurants.
Yes.
Together.
Yes.
And then on the other side was another bakery. And direct from me was a cheese special store.
Yes.
And direct across from me was a brewery.
Yes.
And they had a good restaurant.
Now, the brewery, what was the name of the brewery?
Engel.
Yes.
Engel Brewery. And Engel means angel.
Angel. And did they make
their own beer?
Or the home brew beer?
Yeah.
I don't even know. And then could you smell it as you walked by? That's a wonderful thing.
Well, I think sometimes you could smell the hops.
The hops. What are the hops?
A hops is a plant that goes into the beer that makes the beer a little bit bitter.
Okay. So, and the beer was kind of a drink of choice in Germany. That's
the main beverage in Germany.
The beer.
Like coffee is America, wine is in France, so beer is for the Germans.
I imagine now on Main Street, everybody knew each other, everybody was friendly, everybody, if there was a little news going on, everybody knew the news.
Yeah.
And now, what's important to me now is that you lived on Main Street.
Right.
So talk a little bit about that, your house.
Well, to the right would come a toy store and a clothing store, and then the bank, and then City Hall.
Yes.
And then the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church sat kind of up high.
Yes. And he was very impressive.
A big Gothic church.
Wow. And
St. Peter and Paul, it was called.
Yes. So you were in the thick of it, where you lived.
Yeah,
I mean,
right
it was perfect.
I didn't need a bicycle or car.
Did you have a mailman that would deliver mail?
No, we had a post office box.
You had to go to the post office, which was on Main Street?
No, that was on the railroad station street.
How nice.
That was up the hill. Now, by the church, you turn up the hill.
There it was. Now, you lived on the corner, and you had a little store
Yeah.
that your mom and
Right.
dad ran.
Right.
And then your house now, was it just one level, or was there,
There
explain
were
what it
three
looked
levels.
like. Three
On the
levels.
bottom was the store, and the next floor was storage
Okay.
for the store.
Yes.
And then on the third floor we lived.
So now tell me, did you have to go upstairs to the, up and down the stairs, three
Up
flights?
and down the stairs.
That must be what kept you so young, is the exercise you got as a child.
Yeah.
And now, the kitchen, was the kitchen the biggest, most
No.
important place in your...
No, in the kitchen was only a table for working.
Okay.
That you could fold it down. No, we ate in the dining room, which was right next to the kitchen.
Yes. Did you heat it with coal, or your house? Coal,
With wood and coal, and with a, I don't know, a tile oven. You ever heard of such a
No,
thing?
a tile oven. I was going to ask you about the...
You can even sit on it. There's a bench on it.
Wow.
And there's a little door in it, so you could put hot water you could
Yes.
make in there.
Yes.
And it heated like 3 rooms, and also the hallway.
Wow.
And it was
a tile
the
oven.
wood and the coal was put in from the hallway.
Oh, so the tile oven wasn't used for cooking,
No.
but for heating.
Just heating.
That's beautiful. I
But
never
like
heard
I said,
of
there
that.
was a little door where you could put a pot in for
Yes.
hot water.
Or your hot
For tea,
water
maybe.
bottle
Oh, that too, yeah.
to go to
go to bed, definitely, yes.
I was thinking your house at that time, so many years ago in Germany,
It was
probably was drafty.
Yeah, it was not central heated,
Yes.
so bedrooms did not have any heat
Right.
at all.
So you would take your hot water bottle
right, and my big feather bed.
and your
right,
big feather bed,
right.
and you would have sweet dreams, hopefully.
Yeah, right.
Now, hopefully. Now tell me, did the kitchen, did it have an ice box or a refrigerator?
No, not at all.
No.
If you had like milk, you put it down in the cellar.
Okay.
And it stayed okay.
Yes.
And if it went sour, you ate it sour too. It was like yogurt.
So is that right?
Yeah, it tasted just like yogurt almost.
Yes.
So we ate it sour too.
Okay. And then how about...
And we went every day. We went shopping for the meal.
Beautiful.
So everything was fresh because, like you said, we did not have an ice bar. That was
Right.
unknown in Germany.
And a stove, not the tile stove, but
The stove, yeah.
the stove
in
was,
the kitchen.
Was that
That was
fueled by
part
coal?
gas. That was part
okay.
gas, and that was city gas.
Yes.
They made the gas in the city,
Okay.
and so we had some gas burners, but we also had 2 burners that were with wood and coal.
Yes.
So you know how those stoves are. You
Yes.
take some rings out, and depending how big the pot is, right?
I remember seeing them
Remember
in a
that?
magazine, but they looked a little challenging compared to what we have
well,
today.
I never had to do that because I was just a child.
Yes, yes. Good for you. Now, as a child, you remember seeing, because you lived on Main Street,
Right.
the funerals.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, the funerals. And,
The dead people were kept in the house
okay,
where they died,
okay.
and then they were brought in a what is that called?
A hearse?
A
A
hearse.
hearse, okay.
A hearse. And with with 1 or 2 horses, I don't remember.
Yes.
And behind the hearse was then the family, and then the other people.
Yes.
Now, the priest who came to the funeral didn't go to the house.
No.
So they met right on the corner where my house was.
Yes.
So it was a very, how should I say?
Exciting.
Nosy corner, right?
It was a good corner to live on.
Yeah, so from our 3rd floor, we could watch the funeral.
Yes.
And so the priest and the altar boys would come and go right behind the hearse, and then the
Yes.
family.
Yes.
And my mother would, of course, cry
Yes.
like crazy.
Right.
And my girlfriend once was there, and I said to my mother, "Did you know the man who died?" And because she was crying
Crying so hard.
So my mother said, No, but it's so sad.
Oh, do you know?
And we two girls, we just laughed our head off.
Yes.
We didn't think that was, you know, we thought it was funny,
Sure,
right?
and it
but
was,
now, at a drop of a hat, I cry myself.
yes, and you know what? It shows what a beautiful person your mom was, that she
Yeah.
could feel.
Yeah.
How about the people? They were walking. They were walking.
Yeah,
There's
all
no
walking.
cars.
No cars, no.
Were they all in
A
black?
car funeral, it was unknown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did they wear black and?
Yeah, all black.
All
Oh,
black.
yes, for a whole year.
For a
you wear
whole
black.
year.
Yeah.
Do you know? Tell me. So you living on Main Street, then you didn't have any livestock. You didn't have, you know, pigs in your backyard.
No, but my neighbor during the war had chickens.
Chickens.
Yeah.
Great.
And after the war,
Yes.
especially.
And how about you? No.
Well, one time we had a rooster.
Rooster.
You know, after the war, money was no good. And so we would trade
Yes.
constantly.
Yes.
Something for food, right?
Yes.
And so my parents got a rooster, but it was so young and there was not much
Meat.
on it. And so we asked if we could let it run with the chickens of
Yes.
our neighbors.
Yes.
And they said yes. So every day I went and fed my rooster. And he would fly on my arm.
Oh my goodness.
And eat out of my hand.
My goodness.
You know? And he
That's-
became my pet.
Your pet. Did he have
And
a
I-
name?
That I can't remember.
Just Rooster.
Yeah.
How do you say rooster in German?
Well, there's a High German name, which is Hahn.
Okay.
H-A-H-N.
Yes.
Hahn. You heard of that name already,
Yes, of
right?
course. Yes.
But in Swabian, it's Gockel.
Okay. And
Like
Swabian.
cock, right? Cock,
Yes, it's like a
Gockel.
dialect.
Yeah,
yes,
Swabian is a dialect. Yeah.
Now, so anyway, how lucky could the rooster be? I mean,
Yeah, right.
here he is. Has free rent and board over there with the chickens. So you fattened him up.
Yeah, right.
Now-
But then one day, my father said we have to kill the rooster, and that was terrible.
Oh, sure.
And
He was like your
I
pet.
said I will not eat any of this. I was so angry at my father,
Sure.
but we had to eat.
Sure. And you were this is after the war, where
Yeah, right.
food was not,
Oh no,
was not
between
plentiful.
45 and 48.
Right, it was tough.
really
Tough.
tough.
Now, in the kitchen, at Christmas, let's go to Christmas in Germany, because the Christmas tree tradition that we have today
Right.
in the United States really originated
In Germany. Right, yeah.
So the Christmas carol, "Oh Christmas Tree," or whatever that is by Tannenbaum.
O
Yes.
Tannenbaum.
Oh, Tannenbaum.
Right.
Is that saying, "Oh Christmas Tree"?
Yeah, yeah.
Tannenbaum is Christmas.
Well, Tanne is a pine
Okay.
tree. Pine tree, actually.
Yes. So, so did you actually have a Christmas tree?
Yes, of course, yes.
And did everyone pretty much? Did you go into the outer skirts and pick your Christmas tree out?
I have no idea, because that was all secret, and I didn't see the Christmas tree until Christmas Eve.
Okay. So
Because the Christmas, the gifts and the Christmas tree, the Christ child brought.
Okay.
No Santa Claus.
No Santa.
No.
So then, it was Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. What was the tree decorated?
Yes,
Do you
with
remember?
real candles.
Real candles.
And you could not leave the tree alone, of
No.
course, never.
No.
So you only lit the tree, and then we sang carols. My mother played the piano.
Oh, wonderful.
And by the way, I have that piano over here. I brought it over.
Did you?
Yes,
Oh,
I did.
you're so interesting.
Yeah.
Now the candles, when you
Yeah,
try to picture them, were they little candles or tall candles?
Oh, they were like finger thick, like this.
And was there a holder?
A holder, yeah,
Yes.
with a clamp on it.
Yes. And then was there anything else on the tree?
On top was an angel.
An angel.
On top was an angel.
Was the pine cones or anything like ornaments on the tree?
We had, the balls, the
Yes.
different balls and little trumpets, all made out of that same material that the balls are made.
Yes.
little trumpets
Beautiful.
or little angels or
Beautiful.
stuff like that.
Now, I read that the Christmas tree in Germany was always in the picture window. It wasn't by the staircase. It was always by the window. Did you ever hear that?
Our house didn't have a picture window.
Yes.
When you're on the third floor,
Right.
you just have windows.
Yes.
You know.
So was it by the window?
Probably. Yeah, right. Between two windows.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
I heard that there was a reason for it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that if the tree did catch on fire, all they would do is open the window and push the tree out
I never
in
heard
the
that.
snow,
It
which makes
just-
perfect sense.
Yeah, right. But it never happened to me, and we never worried about it at all.
Goshes. But you had to be in the room.
The tree was fresh, not old, right?
Yes.
Because it wasn't there for 4 weeks.
No.
And
And did it stay through Christmas week or right after the holiday?
no,
Did
it
you-
had to stay through the Three Kings
The
Day.
Three Kings, yes.
Yeah.
And
After.
what a lovely childhood you had. We're talking about before the war, and we're going into during the war and then after the war. So the other thing is, did you ever hear of the pickle ornament? Was that a tradition in
No.
Germany?
No, I never
Then we
heard of
won't
that.
even discuss it. I read
Yeah,
it
right.
somewhere, and you are Germany. I'm not going to go with anything that I read
in
in
different
book.
parts of Germany are different costumes.
Okay. Well, it was
Okay.
a green pickle that they would actually
Yeah.
hang on the tree, probably a small cocktail pickle.
Yeah.
And then if someone found, the first person to find it got an extra special Christmas gift
Oh, yeah?
because they found the pickle. Now,
Yeah.
how about baking and getting ready for the Christmas feast? Was that exciting?
Before we do that, could I talk about St. Nicholas Day?
Of course you can, yes, anything.
St. Nicholas Day was very special too to me. On the eve of St. Nicholas, which was the 5th of December, that's when St. Nicholas came. And
Yes.
he sometimes had a helper named Ruprecht.
Ruprecht, yes.
And he was the bad one. He had a sack in the back of his back.
On his back.
On his back, and he could take you into the woods.
No.
If you were a bad kid.
No.
Right.
Yes.
But St. Nicholas, I mean, he was dressed as a bishop.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yes.
He was dressed as a bishop. He had that tiara on it, right?
Did he
What it's
bring
called?
treats? Did he bring gifts?
Yes, but small gifts.
Yes.
Small gifts like nuts
Yes.
and apples and oranges, later on oranges.
Yes.
And
Would he-
nothing big. Maybe some chocolates.
Yes.
Not even.
How about the helper? He didn't have coal for if you weren't
No,
good.
that custom I didn't hear about until I
Yes.
came over here.
Yes.
He was just threatening that he was
Yeah, but
take
he was
you
going to take
into
you.
the woods.
Yes, it was kind of like.
But he didn't say much. Only the St. Nicholas talked, and he had a big golden book.
Oh.
And he was telling you what you did wrong.
Oh.
And he knew everything. I was
Okay.
always wondering how he knew
Yes.
everything.
Yes. Saint Nick.
Yeah.
He had a good memory.
Yeah.
So year after year. Now, I want to talk about the Springerly cookie. I brought.
Oh, yeah, about the baking,
The rolling pin.
Right.
That's not authentic, but my mother was a quarter German, so my grandmother would send Christmas cookies to us. She lived out in Ohio every Christmas, and the Springerly would come, which was made with that rolling pin. And if you can see it, they're almost like stamps, and that little rolling pin would go over the dough.
The dough,
I think
right.
the dough, there was a lot to making this dough.
Yes, probably.
They had to dry it out or something,
I don't
and it was
know.
saturated with anise.
Yeah, because I didn't like them, I would never make them.
No,
And it's probably because they are so hard.
they are hard.
They're hard.
Yes.
And secondly, because they have anise in it, and I don't like anise.
yes.
So I never made them,
No.
so I cannot tell you anything about it.
It wasn't a favorite of mine. It was a dunker. but not just one dunk. You need to let it
Right.
soak.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if they're soaking it in beer or in tea or what.
Hot chocolate,
Hot
probably.
chocolate, probably. But at any rate, so we're going to switch into your growing up, and there certainly must have been some sort of, talk about World War II, the upset in the governments and stuff, and then as you get older, the possibility of going to war or facing a war becomes a reality. Did you live under, is it the Führer, am I saying that right? Adolph Hitler?
Yes, yes.
So you knew.
I remember I was in first grade when we had to sing Die Fahne hoch.
Okay.
You know that famous song.
Yes. So now, what was it like when you were facing this terrible time in your history? Did people come together and be more helpful and kind during the war? Pray more? Is there anything you can...
Oh, definitely pray more. And
Yes.
especially when we were in the bunkers,
Yes.
in the cellars of... my parents didn't have a good cellar, so we always went to neighbors.
Yes.
Or sometimes in the brewery cellar.
Yes.
Can I tell you that funny
Yes.
story?
Yes.
Sometimes we were at the Angel Brewery.
Yeah, the brewery.
Down in the cellar were big, huge vats were hanging on the ceiling.
Yes.
And I was thinking, oh my God, if a bomb falls, then I will drown in beer.
Right.
And I told that to my husband one day, and he said, what a way to go.
Right, right. Who could be so lucky? But
Yeah.
getting back to, how did you know to go to the bunker or to go
In the cellar, right?
in the cellar?
We had a siren,
A siren.
and then you had to pack your bags and,
Yes.
and run. And sometimes you were in the middle of cooking.
Yes. And you just have to...
You just took your frying pan and your pork chop
Right.
and it was, and
Yes.
my mother would get a bag with bread, and off we went with the frying pan and all. And we came to a place. I wanted to go to my girlfriend's
Yes.
basement, so that was a little bit farther than just going next door.
Yeah.
So, but there was a part where there were no houses, and here comes a plane real down
Whoa.
like this,
Uh-oh.
like this.
Yes. So
And
close.
my mother said, "Lay down," and we laid flat on the floor, and the frying pan was right in between us.
Right.
And I was always thinking, what would that pilot thought when he saw that frying
pan.
pan?
And the pork chop was still in it.
Yeah, still sizzling.
Yes, still so. He probably thought, maybe I can stop here.
Maybe he got hungry.
I imagine so.
Anyway, he spared us. He didn't shoot at us.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Do you know, your dad, though, did go to war.
Yes, from the
And
first day on,
The first day.
1939.
He fought for Germany,
Right, and first in France, and then he went to Romania.
Romania.
And he had it good in Romania because there were many Germans in Romania who settled there, I don't know, 100, 200
Yes.
years ago.
Yes.
So they were really happy to have Germans coming.
Yes, of course.
And so he had it pretty good until the Russians came
Right.
and took him as prisoner of
Of
war.
war.
And then he had to walk for days and days.
Oh,
they
dear.
walked.
Dear.
And can I tell that story?
Yes, of course. I think it's a wonderful story.
Yeah. There was another troop of people, of soldiers, prisoners, Germans,
Sure.
coming this way, and my father would go this way, and one of these other guys from the other thing, he had on a fork, he had a bacon rind swinging like that, you know?
Right.
And my father thought that was funny and laughed, right?
Sure.
So this Russian guard saw him laughing and thought he laughed at him.
Uh-oh.
And he said to him, come out. And he had to go into a field with him.
Yes.
And my father was for sure that he's going to shoot him.
He's going to die.
So he thought, I'm not going to just lay down and die. And he went against him, he said, like a cat.
Right.
And they wrestled for a while. And then my father's billfold fell out. And pictures of my mother and me as a little girl.
Yes.
Fell out.
Yes.
And that must have touched that Russian soldier.
Yeah.
He stopped. He helped my father picking up the pictures.
Saw the picture,
And
yeah.
then he said, go back.
Yes.
And he went like this
Don't
to
tell
him.
anyone.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And
Beautiful.
So my father's
There's
life
always,
was spared.
there's always kindness through
there's
everything.
Always, even in war.
Even in war, you'll
Even
find.
in the prison camp, I can tell you one where my father came to America, and we lived in Madison, Wisconsin at that time.
Yes.
And we came by the company of Oscar Mayer, and he read Oscar Mayer. And he said, you know what? When I was in Russian prison camp, we had cans with meat in it, and it said Oscar Mayer.
How about that?
Can about that?
Yes.
So the Americans fed the German prisoners in Russian prison camp. Can
Wow.
you believe that?
Wow. It's hard to wrap your mind around.
Yeah.
Tell me about your father. So
Yeah.
he comes home.
Yeah.
And he's
End of August 1945, and it was their anniversary when he came home.
Beautiful. And he walked how many miles?
Well, he
hitchhiked.
mainly hitchhiked
Hitchhiked.
home after he was discharged in a camp, in a
Yes.
discharge camp.
Yes.
He hitchhiked home mostly because there was no public transportation. It was right after the war. There were
Yes.
no trains, no buses, no nothing.
So he was like a prisoner of war. He had lost weight.
He looked just like a concentration
Right,
camp
right.
guy, you know.
But we have
No
good
hair. Hair was shaved.
Right.
And
But we have good news. Tell the viewers how old
he was
lived to be.
He was 91 when he died.
And he lived in the house, on Main Street?
Main Street, Hauptstraße.
Yes, in your little town.
Right.
And is that it's beautiful that he suffered so much.
Yeah.
And yet he had the resilience or the love or the good care to continue on his life. And you said he continued in the store.
Right.
In our pre-interview. So, you know, our time is coming to a close, which is very sad. You must come again. Maybe you could bring one of your homemade cakes or something. We could talk, kitchen talk.
Sounds good.
But you've been just delightful. And I know
you.
that the audience, we've been to Germany, thanks to Rose Kamala. So to you, our viewers, from all of us here at ECTV, we want to thank you for watching. And we want you to be sure to stay safe, stay healthy, and stay connected. See you next time on ECTV.